Welcome everyone to this explainer. Look, if you're here right now, you're obviously a focused learner. You already get how incredibly valuable it is to master the little nuances of language. So today we're taking a super structured, honestly kind of gamified approach to advanced English grammar. We are moving way beyond those basic textbooks and the simple rules you picked up on day one. Instead, we're going to literally unlock the hidden cheat codes of a tense you probably thought you already mastered, the past continuous. So you might be thinking you know the past continuous, right? Most of us were taught that it's simply used for an action in progress in the past. You know the drill. Sentences like, I was walking to the store, or they were eating dinner. And yeah, sure, mechanically speaking, that's absolutely true. But honestly, if you stop right there, you are missing out on an entirely different layer of communication. Today, we're going to look at the past continuous not just as some boring timeline marker, but as a seriously dynamic tool for social manipulation and creative storytelling. We are going to unlock its three hidden superpowers. Let's dive in. All right, here is superpower number one, the scene setter, setting the narrative scene. Okay, so before any real action kicks off in a good story, you have to establish the atmosphere, right? You have to build the world for your listener or your reader. Just listen to this. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and a gentle breeze was blowing through the trees. Notice how the past continuous just beautifully stretches time out. It paints this incredibly peaceful, ongoing backdrop. There's absolutely no rush here. It allows your mind to just kind of settle into the environment. We're establishing the background, the baseline of the whole narrative, using those continuous ing verbs to create a sweeping cinematic view of the scene. Suddenly, a loud crash broke the silence. Wow, do you feel that massive shift? By interrupting our peaceful, ongoing past continuous background with a really sharp, sudden past simple action, the word broke, we create a stark, immediate narrative contrast. Basically, the past continuous set you up, made you super comfortable, and then the past simple came in and delivered the dramatic interruption. That is exactly how brilliant writers hook your attention and manipulate the pacing of a story. Moving right along, here's superpower number two, the softener, the art of politeness. Now, you might already know that English is a language that highly values indirectness when it comes to being polite. If we want to make a request, a direct present continuous approach, like I am wondering if you can help me, is, well, factually accurate, but it feels a bit immediate, maybe even a little demanding. But listen to the subtle shift here on the right. I was wondering if you could help me. You see, you're actually still asking right now, right in this present moment, but by shifting the tense back in time to the past continuous, you create this amazing psychological distance. And that distance is a real game changer. It makes the request feel so much softer, less intrusive, and just significantly more polite. And you know what? This exact same trick applies to giving advice too. Saying something like, I think you should apply for the job is very direct. Depending on your relationship with the person, it could easily come across as a little aggressive or pushy. But check out the alternative. I was thinking you should apply for the job. By cloaking your current advice in the past continuous, it totally softens the blow. It playfully suggests that the thought just gently occurred to you rather than you commanding them on what they absolutely need to do. It's basically a brilliant strategy for handing out unsolicited advice without causing any offense. All right, that brings us to superpower number three, the grievance, complaining about past habits. Because let's be real, language isn't just for politeness and storytelling, it's also for venting. But to unlock this specific complaining superpower for those super annoying past habits that drove us absolutely crazy, you need some very specific catalyst words. Much like the present continuous, the past continuous requires trigger adverbs like always, constantly, or forever to signal to your listener that you aren't just stating a boring fact, you are airing a serious grievance. Actually, think of it this way. These adverbs act as a huge emotional multiplier to the verb. For example, imagine saying, when we were roommates, he was always borrowing my clothes without asking. Or, she was constantly complaining about the temperature in the office. Oh man, the use of the past continuous here just perfectly captures all that exasperation. You aren't just giving them a status update, you're fully recreating that inescapable feeling of sheer frustration you lived through during that time. It makes your complaint feel so alive and so incredibly relatable to whoever is listening to you vent. Section 4, your new grammar superpowers, mastering the past. So, as we've seen today, the past continuous is just so much more than a simple timeline marker for interrupted actions. By mastering the scene setter, the softer, and the grievance, you now have this ultimate control over narrative pacing, social politeness, and even emotional venting. So, knowing what you know right now about psychological distance, here's my question for you. How will you use the illusion of the past to manipulate social interactions in the present? Seriously, the next time you need a huge favor, or maybe you need to offer some delicate advice to a friend, remember the cheat codes you picked up in this explainer. Try stepping back into the past continuous, soften your approach, and just watch how differently people respond. Thanks so much for diving into this advanced material with me today, and definitely keep leveraging these hidden tools to become a far more powerful communicator.